What's on your mind?
Anything relevant to life, you bring it to the table. Whether you make a move solo or a movement with a stable. No fables, you speak on your decisions. Cause in the long run, it's your voice, your views, your vision. Keeping it real with many messages for you to know. This ain't radio, but DJ runs the show. Entertainment, he rocks it. Politics, he locks it. The host with the most would handle any topic. Don't forget to share your perspective with shines of light. Cause it might make a difference in someone else's life.
Make a difference.
What's your perspective?
Express what's in your heart and your mind. Share.
And welcome back to Perspectives. Darren Jaime here with you. We are now shifting gears as we turn now to a bone marrow drive, and it's being conducted by BronxWorks. BronxWorks used to be the Citizens Advice Bureau. Ken Small is the development director over at BronxWorks. We want to welcome you.
It's good to be here.
Good to have you here, and happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
You know, you really shouldn't be sitting here. You owed me an exclusive and you didn't give it to me, but I'm going to let you pass on it anyway. How's BronxWorks going?
BronxWorks, things are going quite well since we had the name change back on November the 13th.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about that, because right now you guys are in the process of doing a bone marrow drive
Yes.
during the holiday season. And why don't we let people know what's going on?
Yeah, we're actually working in collaboration with a number of organizations that are concerned with increasing the number of individuals who become part of the bone marrow donor database. There's currently approximately 8 million names in the bone marrow donor database. We'd like to get that number up several numbers higher. And in addition, what we'd like to do is to increase the number of people of color in the registry. Right now, in terms of the African American population, there are about 500,000 people who are in the bone marrow registry. If we were proportionate in terms of the 8 million figure, there would be closer to 1 million African Americans in the bone marrow registry. And since the Bronx is perhaps one of the most diverse communities here in the country, we thought it would be good to have a bone marrow donor drive here in the Bronx, a drive that would not only focus on the African American population, but other communities that make the Bronx the diverse borough that it is.
I was talking with someone about bone marrow, and not knowing the history, the stereotypes that come with bone marrow, they really think that the process is really a hard one for a bone marrow test. But the truth of the matter is, it's not.
The screening is a very, very simple procedure. It's almost the equivalent of brushing your teeth or gargling in the morning. There's a little Q-tip swab that's used to take a DNA sample. The sample is entered into the database. There's a screening questionnaire that goes along with that process. That is what gets you into the database in effect. And then if a need is identified, if a match is identified, then you're contacted, you go to a hospital. The procedure in terms of actually doing the bone marrow donation is something that is very, very painless. It's a relatively quick procedure. You have two options. You can either do a blood transfusion-like procedure, or you can do a very minor surgical procedure, which is an outpatient surgical procedure. So it's really simple.
Let's talk about Mrs. Jennifer Jones.
She's a wonderful person, works for the United Way of New York City, one of their senior staff persons, and she was recently diagnosed with leukemia. And her options at this point are very limited. She needs to find someone who's a bone marrow match for her, or it's very likely that her health will continue to deteriorate, and unfortunately, she may deteriorate to the point of losing her life. So it's really critical that at this point in time that a bone marrow match is found for her.
We hear a lot about kidney matches, you hear about heart transplants and things like that, but bone marrow is so important, particularly in the lives of minorities in the African American community,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when we talk about getting people to actually come to the table and be a part of a bone marrow drive,
yeah.
Sometimes, particularly African American community, we're a little on the slow bus.
I think part of it has to do with the fact that oftentimes people in general are a little queasy about anything that has a medical connection. And I think, of course, some education has to be done to let people know that, one, it's a simple procedure in terms of the screening, two, in terms of actually administering the donation itself. It's a very simple procedure. The side effects are extremely minimal. And again, if you opt for the surgical procedure, it's ambulatory surgery, so you're done very quickly. If you opt for the blood transfusion procedure, it's something that requires you taking a couple of injections for a period of a few days. So either option is simple, either option is relatively painful. I think it's a situation where the more people know, the more informed they are, the less fear that they'll have.
Let's talk about how we can help Ms. Jennifer Jones-Austin and in her efforts. Obviously, there's going to be an effort done, and let's talk about that.
We've got a screening coming up on Monday, December 21st. I almost said the 31st, but it's Monday, December 21st from 12 noon to 6 p.m. at the BronxWorks Community Center, which is located at 1130 Grand Concourse, right next to Bronx Housing Court and between 166 and McClellan Streets. In addition, if folks wish to become part of the bone marrow donor registry, if they're not able to make it out on that occasion, there are a couple of websites that they can go to. One is www.icla.org. The other is bethematch.org. Either of those websites will enable a person to sign up for the bone marrow registry.
All righty, Ken. Well, we want to thank you for coming and sharing with us. Ken Small, Development Director over at BronxWorks. We want to thank him for coming and sharing with us, and best wishes on the screening.
Thank you.